I'm Abby Vandeveer.
And I'm Jolijn Schilder.
And in this presentation, we'll give you a quick overview about the forthcoming examination and treatment of Paulus Polter's bull, otherwise known as the Stier. The bull is one of the most beloved paintings in the collection of the Mauritshuis. Until the 20th century, it was the most famous painting in our collection. There's so much to discover about the bull, and we want to share it with a new generation of visitors. For instance, that it was started as a small painting, maybe a portrait of a cow and a bull, painted on 2 pieces of canvas. But Paulus Polter enlarged the painting on 3 sides during the painting process by adding 3 strips around the edges. Through our technical examination, we hope to learn a lot more about Polter's painting process. And during the conservation treatment, we hope to bring the painting as much as possible back to his original intention. Both of these phases, examination and treatment, will take place in front of the public at the museum, in a specially constructed studio in the galleries. We'll tell you more about this in a moment, but first, if you look at the painting, you might wonder, why do we need to restore it? It's primarily for aesthetic reasons. The varnish is yellower than it might first appear. And if we look at this detail of the sheep wool, you can see yellow-brown varnish between the brushstrokes. In other areas, the varnishes has difference in gloss. There are also discolored retouchings. For instance, in the body of the bull. These dark spots aren't part of the pattern on his coat. In the red circle in this UV image, you can see that they're retouchings, which were filled and painted during past treatments. There are also retouchings covering the seams and joins between the pieces of canvas. Thankfully, most of the paint is in good condition. But the most damaged and degraded part of the painting is the sky. We know this by examining it in UV. The pink and dark blue parts are retouched or overpainted. In normal light, you can see that most of this cloud has been created during past restoration treatments. It was last treated in the 1970s by Hans Suzanne. These areas he circled in the photo showed where he left even older retouchings that couldn't be removed. In our conservation studio, we have extensive documentation about conservation history that goes back to the late 18th century, when the painting was looted by French troops and brought to Paris. There, it had one of its first restoration treatments.
Our investigation of the bull will be divided into 2 parts, the technical examination and the conservation or restoration treatment. Both will take place in a specially constructed studio on view to the public, which will look something like this on the slide. Our museum visitors will be able to see and experience the work we are doing, and the information will be shared through wall texts, short videos, and social media. But first, the technical examination. We hope to answer questions like how and why did Paulus Polter paint the bull? Which materials and techniques did he use? And how has the painting changed over the course of time? Our research methods will include X-rays, infrared analysis, SWIR veneer imaging, macro XRF scanning, and the examination of micro paint samples. The technical examination will be a cooperation between the Mauritshuis and the Rijksmuseum. Infrared reflectograms showed us some changes that Polter made during the painting process. For example, there is a fence under the bull's mouth that he later covered up with the sky. And underneath his belly, there is a farm in the background. We have also taken a few microscopic paint samples to study the materials and the layer buildup. This sample was taken in the sky. We see several layers of overpaint, but thankfully it seems to be separated from the original paint by a layer of varnish. The second part is the conservation treatment, which will start in June 2024 and go on for about a year and a half. We aim to be finished in December 2025. Our aims are to ensure that this important painting will be preserved for the future, and to resolve aesthetic problems such as the yellow varnish, discolored retouchings, and the overpainted sky. We hope to bring the painting as close as possible to Potter's original intentions, and we want to share the importance of conservation with the public. The steps in the first part of the treatment will include testing for varnish removal and overpaint removal. The later phases will probably involve filling, retouching, and further research into the painting's techniques and materials. We have already done some initial technical examination and testing. And we have also compared the materials and techniques in other paintings by Paulus Potter, which include those small works and some other large paintings. I hope you'll agree that there is a lot to discover about this incredible painting and interesting artist, and we hope that sharing our discoveries with the public, we can engage a new audience in learning about technical examination and treatment.